So here I am, walking through Farncombe Woods, which feels like exactly the right place talking to you today, because over the last couple of weeks, I've been to 3 events that, in their different ways, all pointed at the same thing. That thing is what I'm surrounded by now: trees, nature, the outdoors, and why it matters more than most of us even realise. It started on Tuesday the 14th of April at the Royal Society, where I was lucky enough to attend the Octavia Hill lecture. For those who don't know, Octavia Hill was one of the founders of the National Trust, and this annual lecture is held in her honour. This year's lecture was delivered by Professor Baroness Cathy Willis, CBE, a scientist who has spent many years studying nature and its impact on health and well-being. The title of her talk was "The Health-Giving Power of Nature." I was there with my colleague Lawrence Swart, and we were delighted to bump into Sheila Das, Head of Gardens and Parks at the National Trust, who had organised the transformation of both the entrance foyer and lecture hall with abundant displays of nature. Now, Cathy Willis's talk. I'm going to try and give you the essence of it without losing the science, because the science is what really makes this compelling. Just going to swing round just to look. This is chestnut coppice at the top of the woodlands above me. I'm going to do a separate talk on coppicing, and we'll be back here for that. And there's another thing I can't resist showing you. This is a phoenix tree. Look at the way the tree was blown over in a storm probably, and new life is springing up for it. You'll get these bonus nuggets as I go along, because I can't help but tell you about trees. Anyway, going back to where I was, the science. She structured her talk around several themes, and I'm going to literally walk you through them. First, the view. What we look out onto actually affects our cognitive performance and our recovery. Patients in hospital rooms with a view of nature recover faster. Children in classrooms overlooking green spaces perform better. Even 90 seconds staring out of a window onto a green landscape can improve your ability to focus and return to a task. That's not philosophical argument, that's data. Look at that view. My favourite oaks over there. Second, green spaces and health. Having access to green vegetation, parks, woodland, gardens, measurably improves our health. And this, she pointed out, was something Octavia Hill essentially understood intuitively over a century ago. When she fought to protect green spaces for ordinary people, she knew it. The science is now proving it. Look at this bluebells wood. So these are much more mature chestnut coppice. These are 20 years old, nearing being ready, and just such a fabulous forest floor. Just going to have to show you it in all its magnificence. All sweet chestnut. Third, and this is the one that really stopped me in my tracks, the chemistry of woodland air. As you walk through a wood like this one, you're breathing in compounds emitted by the trees. 2 in particular, alpha-pinene and limonene. These compounds pass across the lung-brain membrane and into the bloodstream. They peak in concentration in August, but are present and active from April through to September. Interestingly, concentrations are higher in coniferous forests, but they are still meaningfully present in hardwood woodland like this. And what do? They trigger what are called natural killer cells, a phrase I hadn't heard before that evening. Natural killer cells play a major role in the body's rejection of tumours and virally infected cells. They build our resistance to cancers. She cited a study in which healthy male subjects aged 37 to 60 were put in a hotel for 3 nights. Some in rooms infused with the aromatic compounds from cypress oil, others not. Urine and blood samples were taken daily. The results were striking. Reduced adrenaline levels and significantly elevated natural killer cell activation from smell, from the air in a woodland. I'm breathing it now. So when I tell you I try to walk in these woods almost every day, I'm now feeling incredibly grateful to nature for the bonus that is given my body. Fourth, touch. I come up to a tree and touch it. Happens to be some kind of conifer. Still nice to touch. Sorry conifers, I don't know you all. Kathy Willis talked about tree hugging. Oh dear. This one's an ash. Just come out. I'm going to be nuts and give it a little hug. It's a bit difficult with my hand on the phone. It's a fantastic tree, this one. I guess this one's 50, 60 years old, probably similar age to me. What do you know? More conifers. We'll come to some fantastic oaks soon. So on touch, Kathy Willis talked about tree hugging and, yes, literally, the proven benefits of touch with natural materials. But she went further. The less treated the material, the better. The closer it is to its natural state, the more beneficial the contact. Now you'll know that at Gaze Burvill, we make furniture from British timber, ash, oak and sweet chestnut. It's a very appropriate woodland to be in. As well as from oak from France, and we tend to leave it unfinished so that the wood can weather naturally and so that people are in direct contact with the material itself. I've also used the expression often touch wood. I just didn't know that the science was backing me up quite this literally. Her conclusion was simple. Nature is not a nice to have. It is measurably, scientifically, profoundly good for us. In a world of synthetic materials and indoor environments, reconnecting with nature isn't a luxury, it's medicine. This thought-provoking and inspiring presentation was followed by a wonderful conversation between Kathy Willis and Dr. Zand van Tulken, famed for Operation Ouch on the BBC. A really good Q&A with a lot of focus on those natural killer cells. The evening ended with Hilary McGrady, CBE, Director General of the National Trust, drawing on the links that Kathy had already made between her science and the practical work of improving nature conservation and access carried out by the National Trust. At Gaze Burvill, we're immensely proud to have assisted in our own small way through our National Trust collection, which is entirely made out of beautiful British oak. And if you want to go deeper, and I'd also recommend this, Kathy Willis's book, Good Nature, Improve Your Health and Happiness with Nature, one simple step at a time, as I'm doing here. And how appropriate I come to another of my favourite oaks, and we finish that section. Wow, that's a beauty. This one's 200-300 years old. Give it a quick, give it a quick hug. Oh, it's massive. Look at that. Okay, and we've got an ash alongside, and this time of the year, I'm just going to make the comment, oak is before ash, so we're in for a splash, everybody. Dry summer, not a soak. Ash before oak, in for a soak. Had to fit that one in. And lots of beautiful wild garlic here. Might pick a few leaves to put in our lunchtime salad. I'm just going to grab a few leaves. I think that's allowed, isn't it? There we go. Oh, stick those away. Okay, fantastic. Then on Friday the 17th of April, I went to an event near Cobham, the first anniversary celebration of the Glass House Collective. Mark Gregory, founder of Landform and Chelsea show garden legend, along with designer Alan Williams, have brought together companies involved in creating wonderful outdoor spaces under one roof, or rather, under one rather magnificent old greenhouse, which has been transformed into a lecture theatre and event space, and is in the centre of a much larger area, which has become a showroom, outdoor showroom gathering place for the industry. It was a real pleasure to be there, with some of our furniture on display in that beautiful setting, already weathering into its surroundings exactly as it should. Great to see Mark, great to see Alan, and so many people celebrating what they have achieved in just 12 months. And there was a lovely moment of connection talking to Matt Possige, who coincidentally was also halfway through listening to Kathy Willis's book, Good Nature. So the threads were already weaving together. Basically everybody who was there is creating more nature in people's gardens, so it was wonderful to see. And then, last but not least, last Saturday, 18th of April, we held our own event, our annual RHS, Chelsea preview. Watching my step as I go down this hill at Lodge Farm. Having put this on since 2016, this was our 10th such event, and every year it gets better as we open our workshop and way of working to an increasing number of guests. It was in aid of Horatio's Garden, as it always has been, an exceptional charity that uses amazing gardens positioned next to spinal injury units to introduce nature as part of the recovery process for people with life-changing spinal injuries. And Gaze Burvill has been honoured to place our furniture into several of these gardens, beginning with the very first, Horatio's Garden, designed by Cleve West and situated at Salisbury Hospital, which opened in September 2012. It is, if you needed any further evidence, nature at work, not decoration, but healing. We welcomed 60 guests. I opened by talking about Gaze Burvill's circular way of working, how in the same way that an oak tree, I'm going to look at this oak, an oak tree takes in everything from its environment and embeds it deep into its heartwood, giving it durability and resilience over the centuries. We embed our learning from every project, every conversation, every failure and success into the core of how we work at Gaze Burvill, and that's what's given us our own resilience and longevity. Then we heard from Dr. Olivia Chappell, founder of Horatio's Garden, whose talk was genuinely moving and beautifully illustrated. Then the workshop tour, always a highlight. I used our jigsaw puzzle of a quarter-sawn log to explain why we cut the timber the way we do, and elements of that puzzle will actually be on display at the Chelsea Flower Show this year, so look out for it on our stand in Royal Hospital Way at the top of Main Avenue. And then the main event, our Chelsea preview panel, hosted by the brilliant Chris Young, garden writer and consultant, and a man hugely respected and loved across the industry. He was in conversation with 3 panellists. Sarah Eberly, quite simply the rock star of Chelsea, more gold medals than anyone in the history of the show, and she's creating a garden again this year, this time for the campaign to protect rural England garden, and it's called On the Edge. She spoke about her love of collaborating with artisans and artists, and when Chris asked the quickfire question, if you're a plant, what would you be? She replied, she said an oak tree. So there we have it. Sarah, there you are. I may be biased, but I thought that was a fantastic answer. And here's my friend. I might sit on him for a little rest and carry on the talk. Sit on his nose. You'll see him from my previous Substacks, and just look at this amazing woodland path. So just for this bit, I'm going to have a little rest. So Joe Carey from Carey Design, with his wife and design partner Laura, is creating the Addershaw Goddard Flourish in the City Garden. He voiced that it is his partner Laura who handles the planting, the peril and the danger, while he focuses on the hard landscaping. And then we had Baz Granger from Landform, whose show garden is the Killick & Co. A Seed in Time garden. He spoke with infectious joy about the process of selecting plants. Last year, 900 plants were used in his Royal Hospital Way garden. This year, he's growing 7,000, of which the intention is to use 4,000 in his larger Main Avenue show garden. And his favourite part, the trees. I certainly felt a bit of kinship there. We then had lunch cooked on our outdoor kitchen, 60 people all sitting around in the sunshine, touching wood and feeling good. So here I am, back where I started, in the woods, walking along, and I find myself, my head, thinking, none of this is coincidence. The lecture that explained the science, the industry gathering that celebrated the outdoors, our own event where we brought people together around timber, nature and Chelsea. It all points the same way. Nature is not background. It's not a lifestyle choice. It is, as Kathy Willis showed so compellingly, fundamental to our health, our resilience, our well-being. And for those of us lucky enough to work with it, to make a living from it, to build spaces within it, this is not just a job, it's a way of life. And we're very lucky, and I appreciate it. This is my world. I'm going to sit down on this oak stump and just fish out of my pocket just one thing to finish off. Carry it with me. Here it is, beside this oak tree. Wood for good, it's now proven. It's not just me, it's not just touching wood, it's science. And this one is working with the National Trust to bring this to you and everyone.